What is up, guys? It's your boy No Risk, No Premium, back with another episode of the Sunday Sermon. Guys, I'm jet lagged as a motherfucker, but I'm still here to give you what you need. So, with that being said, I'm definitely going to make it short, simple, sweet, to the point. Get my ass back to bed so I can be up bright and early back on West Coast time. I'd like to give a special fuck you to anyone on the East Coast that complains about East Coast trading hours. Obviously, I'm kidding. I about enjoyed my one of the best trading weeks ever, being able to quote unquote sleep in. Nonetheless, though, last week, what a fun week. Okay. I got to sleep in, right? Market was having unbelievable ranges intraday. I mean, lots of money to be made. I even cleaned up my SPY chart. So everyone in the comments, you are welcome. I can read it just fine. Obviously, I can understand if you can't. So obviously doing this for you. So you are welcome. Okay. So don't ever say I didn't do anything for you. Just kidding. But look, really though, I mean, before we even get into this week, okay, can we all just see how important this line is right here? Like 350, like really like 357 all the way up to like 360 area. Can we see how important anytime we get down there, how we bounce right out? Can we see how important this level is when we zoom out to like a weekly chart and see it? That is a 200 MA. Okay, so this week will be interesting. This is the second close we've had below it, but we've got a nice long wick to the bottom. What happens, okay, this week? Do we get a weekly close above it and we bounce back up, or do we finally commit to closing underneath and we start a true weekly downtrend? And I mean, we've been in a downtrend on the weekly, but underneath the 200 MA is about as bearish as you get. Okay, that's about as bearish as you get. So let's look to see what we have for data this week. Coming out, zoom down. We've got housing start. Building permits will be interesting. The building index will be interesting. Obviously, you want to pay attention to the real estate market. Then we got Thursday jobless claims, continuing jobless claims. The manufacturing index, existing home sales Thursday. Friday is, I guess the index of common inflation. Not sure how much that holds. Do we have any Fed speakers this week? Okay, do we have any Fed speakers this week? Zoom down. We've got 1017. Just looks like Thursday. Got a few of the freaking idiots coming off to speak. Bowman. Okay, Jefferson. Not sure that is, and then Cook. No Powell though. Okay, this is what we need to guys, why do we do this every time? Guys, go back every goddamn Sunday sermon. It's the same fucking thing. I talk about the week prior, then we go back and look what economic data, then we look to see if any of the clowns are talking, and then we go look at earnings. Why do we do that? Guys, it's important to understand how macroeconomics, okay, how economic data, Fed speakers can easily, right, make the market consolidate or trend. And if the market only consolidates or trends, it's good to know when we can expect it to happen. So this week, we don't really have much going on as far as, right, as far as those, Fed speakers or economic data. Now, nonetheless, right, we do have B of A tomorrow, will be interesting. Tesla 1019, Netflix 1018. Okay, then we obviously got, I think, Amazon's next week. I believe Apple is going to be next week as well in the month. So look, we have some pretty decent earnings, right? I would say Tesla, Netflix, and Bank of America are pretty decent earnings to start. Goldman Sachs is 1018, another bank earning. Okay. We saw a lot of banks last Friday have earnings. They're basically starting to hoard cash. Why are they hoarding cash? They need more reserves. They have a lot of bad debt expenses. Okay. So it'll be interesting what GS reports. You see Bank of New York Mellon right here, 1017, Charles Schwab, 1017. So the rest of the banks, it seems like main banks, Monday, Tuesday is Netflix, I think. Yep. And then Wednesday is Tesla. Now, look, this is what I'm going to say, and this will be my quote unquote prediction for the week. It's been nonstop bad data or bad news for all the blue chips, for Microsoft. They're laying off employee, they're cutting projects. Tesla has no idea what the fuck Elon's doing with Twitter. He's got to cover his ass to pay an outrageous amount for a platform that fucking sucks. There's not a lot of demand for the iPhone. The new iPhone 14 got fucking raped by Steve Jobs' daughter, doing it like Tim Cook. I mean, look, if there is some sort of magical accounting that comes out where these big blue tech that lead the market, that they do beat, quote unquote, or there's good news, quote unquote, or there are buyers, quote unquote, whatever. If Markey wants to go up, I think it comes right back down. What do I think happens? I think anything that rips, especially with blue chips, gets faded right back down, unless it's unbelievable news. And I'm not even sure what could be unbelievable news in this market right now. I mean, the Fed would have to pivot at this point. All right. So with that being said, take that with a grain of salt. That's just my, that's just my feeling. And, all this coming up, we got a lot of people screaming for a midterm rally. Got a lot of people screaming for, big tech going to make the market big. They're going to have a run into earnings and all this stuff. And when everyone starts saying that, I start looking the other way. Okay. You start looking the other way, right? So with that being said, those are who's reporting this week. Put those on your calendars. If you're in our Wells Wealth community, obviously JT Gladiator Small Account Channel will be crushing the ERs this week, as they always do. They play the IV pump, sell before the close. Sometimes they straddle, sometimes they don't, but they always make some goddamn money. So shout out my small accounts peep. Shout out JT Gladiator in there as well. All right, so no Fed idiots going out this week to hopefully fuck everything up, i.e. Powell. Then we don't have much going on here as far as economic data this week, right? No CPI, no huge job. You got job list, no CPI, no non-farm payrolls, right? I mean, look, we could have hopefully some possible, continuation days where there's a buying day, you have a second day of buying, because the market's not having to wait for this huge catalytic event coming out. Now that could happen Tuesday, Wednesday, towards the close of the day, you could see market maybe waiting to see what Tesla and Netflix does. They're obviously on the S&P 500. Okay. So, just something to take into account. Okay. Something to take into account. Now, what are my thoughts for this week? Going in, what are my thoughts? Okay. Back to our chart here, right? We have, let me see here. We have pretty local, a big bottom marked right here at 357. My pivot this week is going to be 357. Okay. And then after that, go in increments of 2, really. You could go 362, 364, 366, 368, 370. That is a lot of bullshit to deal with if you're on the bull side. Okay. That's just being 100% honest. Okay. Being 100% honest, you got a lot of bullshit to deal with there. Okay. So they've got a lot of work to do. One thing I want to note here on this daily chart, look at this 20 MA. After this 431 reject, okay, we could not get through this 20 MA. I mean, you see it here, right? You come up or you come down. You finally fail it. You come down into it, reject, drop huge, reject, drop huge again, reject. Okay. The trend is your friend until it's no longer the trend. Well, the trend is you fade the fuck out of the 20 MA. If you zoom out, it's pretty easy to see. Okay, it's pretty easy to see. Super trend still down, sell side on the higher time frame here of the daily. It's also down on the weekly as well. It's also down on the monthly as well. Now, going to our monthly chart. Love this fucking chart. A lot of people hate it, don't look at it, don't even know it fucking exists. We'll put it on your radar. Where did we bounce last week? Here's a shit talking moment for me. I've been saying 349 since the beginning of the year. Why? That's the COVID high to low. No shit, Sherlock. When we gap down on the CPI day, we bounce like a motherfucker there. Why? 348 was the low, but okay, 348 the low, and I said 349.13. Fucking shoot me. Okay. Look, we bounced crazy there. I mean, we bounced crazy there, right? So what do we have down there? 50 MA, purple dot. It was 352. Then we had 349 right below there. I said that was the target last week. Okay, so wasn't surprised when we bounced out of there. I was surprised we dumped 20 in a goddamn day, though, when it went back to 368. That did surprise me. So I'm not taking credit there like I called that. I called that would be a bounce area. I think that'd be a reasonable bounce area. Okay, 50% COVID. That's a fib low. That's an algo buy. There could be some long-term buyers there well at a 50% retrace after an amazing COVID run. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Now, one thing I do want to know why I'm not as confident in that run back up, because the next goddamn day we damn near gave the whole thing back. I mean, we opened, went to 370, rejected huge. You could still see how big this highlighted level is. Okay, rejected huge and came right back on down. Okay, so all my fib peeps, what do we do here? Damn near 61.5 retrace. Do we all see this? Boom. This is swing low to swing high, CPI to the next morning. So make or break here for the Bulls. Why? 61.7, 61.8 retrace off the recent swing up. Okay, and that's also happens to be where, guys? Zoom out, look left. We can't get through it. We keep on banging our head on it. What do I say? You knock enough times, somebody will open the goddamn door for you. Well, we're knocking on 357 door. Happens to be where the 200 weekly MA is. Pretty significant goddamn level. And we want to get through it. Seems like, right? Seems like we want to get through it. Okay. So where do I think we could go first? I think we could possibly do something like this. We could go down to this 352 monthly 50. Remember that. 352, 78.6 retrace. That's golden zone. That's buy opportunity short term. If you're a big fibber. So I think we could go something like this. If we break down below, I would like to see a hit here to 352, then maybe a nice retest 357.58, 200 weekly MA to reject and finally head back to 348 and retest those weekly lows. Okay, those weekly lows. All right. Now, what happens if 348 breaks? Well, we've got 342. Happens to be where this 128 or 127.2 lines up here as well. That's not really my main concern. If you zoom out on the monthly chart, though, and you can see where I got this 342 from, and you'll also see where I got the green line as well, right? Well, you'll see here the monthly chart. You'll understand. This was basically the weekly chart might look better. Sorry. Let's take a look on the weekly chart. Okay. We basically, the green line is where we dropped on COVID right there. That was the COVID scare. You guys see this? Basically, that's where the COVID scare was. So 338, what I have right here is this green dotted line going all the way across. Okay, then we had this kind of midpoint level in between that high and then this new resistance at towards the 50%. So you see where it's like a midpoint area. So I'm looking at 342. Okay, it's also the start of a little volume shelf on the right. Bigger volume shelf is 338, though. Most definitely 338. That is a full retrace of the current high before COVID. Does everybody see that? Right? See, even you're gonna go put a little price target on the weekly high right here. 339.08. Okay. I'll call it 338, but anywhere in here from 338 to 342, I'm looking for that as a downside target next week, as long as we really truly reject underneath. Okay, underneath that 200 weekly average. That's 359 right now. All right. Now, if we go to our daily and look upside, okay, and you want to be bullish on it, okay, if we hold this and bounce, work is cut out, have to get through 20 MA. I mean, that's a non-negotiable 328. 368, have to get through there. Have to get through there. And if you don't, then you're going right back down. Very simple. Through there, and that's a little squeeze. We go right back into 370. Huge level, though. But a close above 368 or whatever the 20 MA opens up at, opens up 372 at 378, 380 above. Okay, 380 above. My lean is this. We maybe even go back up and retest all the way up to about 364, 365, 6 area. Okay. I'd be looking for rejects in all this level. Basically, if we're under the 20 MA and approaching it, you're looking at where we would reject. Okay. If we want to fall initially Monday, I'd look to possibly go 352, then bounce probably back to the opening area of 357 to 359, a 200 weekly moving average in there. See if you could possibly see a reject for a continued move lower. Okay. Continued move lower. Other than that, guys, that's really all I got. Okay. Keeping it short, simple, sweet for you. Get your levels right. If you like the chart, look better, maybe it's not as fucking clustered. You can give me a comment below and say better, or just say fuck off and keep giving me free info. I'll do that as well. I'll do it with a smile. Okay, I'll do it with a smile. One last thing, actually, 4-hour chart. I've been wanting to say this. I posted it on Friday. Remember, we took those put swings for Wednesday, 352. They started going right at the close, very bearish close. But looky here. It's not perfect. Okay. But you've got a shoulder. You've got a head. Now you have a nice shoulder forming right here. Do you see that? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Neckline 357. Okay. If that breaks, say goodnight. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to get the fucking to sleep. Actually, probably have a meal first, then get to sleep. Okay. But watch this. Get your levels right. Get your homework done. Mark your previous days highs and lows, previous weeks highs and lows. Wake up early. Don't do anything fucking stupid. And I'll see you bright and early. Peace.